Good morning or good afternoon, wherever you are, folks. I haven't made a video all week. And I was thinking today, I took exercise this morning and went on a walk. It was a really gorgeous morning here in Clifton, Ohio, which is near University of Cincinnati campus. And I was walking and I started to realize about what I should talk about today. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about is you have to lead by example. And the series that I've been doing here with is my background is leadership and organizational leadership. And the point, many of you know that I just recently finished a PhD in IO psychology. And the point that I wanted to make about this was I led by example. In other words, I belong to University of Arizona Global Campus. And I've been helping people now that are in this situation or like maybe a year or 2 years behind me in PhD. And I've been helping them. And I'm also part of the University of Arizona Global. I'm the president of that organization, the Toastmasters organization. And there again, I lead by example. And what I mean by lead by example is I don't compromise my integrity or my ethics. And this really, in the last few weeks, really started clicking into my personality, because there are a lot of times, and I'll be honest with people in my past, that not necessarily my ethics or my integrity meant a lot to a lot of people, sometimes with some of my friends and family, and even with people I dated in the past. So, and even the person that I was married to that I had children with as well. So the point here was that when I started working on this dissertation, things started clicking in my mind about things that what matters, what is the most important thing, where I should be. And then I realized as I started looking at my surroundings that really I have to lead by example. Recently, we had a meeting at work last week, and we saw a movie called The Soloist with Jimmy Foxx and Robert Downey Jr. And I'm really a big fan of Robert Downey Jr. because I think he's a great actor. And the point out of that movie that I led is that Jimmy Foxx represented a guy that had all this talent as a musician, but then he developed schizophrenia. And the point of the movie was that when I think about that movie, is that the gentleman, Robert Downey Jr. played, that he's realized after a while, and that the guy that Robert Downey Jr. played was Mr. Lopez, and Jamie Foxx played Mr. Ayers, that he realized as he began gain a relationship with this individual who had schizophrenia, but was very musically talented, that they developed a friendship, but then he realized that there was this lead by example in his life, and what this did in and later the consequence of this, he became a better person. He had a better marriage, better friendships. He worked for the LA Times, ended up writing a book, The Soloist, like I said, and they made a movie out of it. But the issue that I found very rewarding out of this is that he had this paradigm shift when he realized that he led by example. And the same issue happens with a lot of people when they get into a role where things click. Necessarily doesn't mean some people it might click about lead by example in their 20s, some people in their 30s, 40s, and sometimes people never get it. And there's nothing wrong with it. And I've talked to them about this before, and I was in a meeting last week as well, and I talked to a couple of colleagues at University of Arizona Global, that not necessarily people are bad It's just they make poor choices in life. And in essence, we all make poor choices sometimes. It's what we do with those choices. In other words, in a case and example, I had last Thursday was in a training. I was up and down in the training. I had a couple meetings. I was working with a couple clients. It was not a very good day to be in an online training. And then consequence of this also on Thursday was I had a meeting with my boss, his new boss as well. So all this was I made my attempt to do this, but the person that was giving the training emailed me and said, I can't give you the full credit because you're up and down. And if some people would get upset because like, well, I sat there, blah, 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 and start this heated argument about it. But like I said, things happened to click for me about leading by example. And I said, I understand. Thank you very much for the opportunity. And more or less, I said, I'll try to do better the next time. Sorry about the inconvenience. And then that person emailed back and thank you for the kind words. So in essence, we lead by example. And a lot of people see this. The point here is also, for instance, I was in a meeting at UAGC. We're talking about issues concerning issues about Toastmasters and people not sometimes participating. And it's like you can't force people to do things. People have to do things on their own. All you can do is lead by example. And then hopefully some people will, what's the old cliche, step up to the plate and get involved. But then again, you got to realize other people they're doing school, they're teaching, they got family life. So you got to adjust what you can. The issue that I have for myself is sometimes I got to remember I'm a go-getter. That may not necessarily be the case for somebody else. So I have to really, as part of this is lead by example, is I have to have empathy. So anyway, I don't want to make this into a sermon. These are just some food for thoughts. Please like and subscribe on my page, Positive Vibes. Also, if you have any questions, concerns, I do have books available on Amazon. The latest book right now that I have is Casinos and the Impact on the Reservations. I also have another one that I published in the spring. Don't buy that lottery ticket. That's also available on Amazon. So anyway, please like and subscribe. If you have any questions, feel free to email me at bthomasmiller, as it's spelled, psych, P-S-Y-C-H, at gmail.com. Anyway, folks, have a great day and hope to talk and see you soon. Have a great day. Bye.